Hi, this is Cassie on Sunday Brunch. I've got Graham with me, who is responsible for the wonderful bus stop mural down in the town that you might have seen. That's really looking good. I saw it the other day. I took a picture, Graham. How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, hello, Cassie. I got involved in that. I do quite a lot of young people's workshops, teaching them street art and graffiti art. And one of the people who I do that with got in touch with me, a lady from Maidstone Borough Council, and she put my name forward for doing this, for doing the bus station. She'd also kind of been less involved with the angel wings that I did down in Lock Meadow there. And so, yeah, they wanted me to come up with a couple of designs. One of them was, going through the history of the kind of transport that would come through Maidstone Bus Station, or has come through Maidstone over the 100 or so years of bus transportation, or I came up with this one as sort of more of interesting facts about Maidstone. That was on the back of doing like a workshop with some young people from a school, and we were there discussing ideas of what we could do. And that's how that came about, really. So I kind of developed that further after thinking about things like the fact that my dad went to art college with Tony Hart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen that he's on there, and I know you were keen to include him. You approached the family, didn't you, for permission?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, his daughter Caroline. I got in touch with her just to sort of say, I hope you don't mind. I want to do something like a tribute to your dad. He was a massive influence me on when I was a kid, watching Take Heart and those kind of programs. She was more than delighted, and I showed her the design and showed her the progress as it came along. But yeah, unfortunately she wasn't able to make it to the opening day, but yeah, she's left some very good feedback about it. So,
and what else is on the mural? Because unfortunately radio is more of an audio medium, so we can't actually see it. I'll put a picture up later, but I've seen it. There's the elephants on there. Tell us a bit about what was behind each bit on there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, researching Maidstone is very easy. I mean, quite a lot of these facts I knew already. I'm sort of I grew up in Aylesford, so I know Maidstone very well. For instance, the first image that you see is the iguanodon that's on there, and that's on the basis. Yeah, Iggy the iguanodon, that's right. And obviously the iguanodon is on Maidstone's coat of arms, and the reason for that is because they found one of the earliest discoveries of a complete iguanodon discovery was in Maidstone, up in Queen's Road area around there, when that was being developed. There used to be a big quarry up there, and they discovered this massive complete skeleton of iguanodon. I don't think they quite pieced it together correctly. I think that was one of the ones where they put the horn on the that was the thumb on the snout, didn't they? But so that was the first image, and then obviously Tony Hart, and I put a little image of Morph on there because Morph started off on Take Heart, obviously, and again we approached Aardman Animations to make sure they were happy with how we were representing him, because they're quite specific about thing being represented with Morph. But thankfully Peter Lord came back and was absolutely delighted with it and retweeted it across the mural and sort of said it was fantastic. And then moving across, there's the US flag. I seem to remember, the US flag, and the US flag. This one I've got kind of new from visiting All Saints Church. It has its basis in Maidstone. There's a guy called Lawrence Washington, and the Washingtons used to live up Knight Rider Street in Maidstone. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, here with their car kit.
Yeah,
and they had they were distant uncles of what's it called, George Washington. And if you see the coat of arms, there's that's up on the All Saints Church wall there. It's got the sort of elements of the stars and stripes. So you can definitely see it within the coat of arms. And if you sort of research the American flag, you can see that Benjamin Franklin mentions that they took the coat of arms of George Washington and they expanded it, the stripes and the stars element of it, and expanded it into making like a banner. And that's how the US flag came about. What else is there? Then you come across, and there's the 007 thing there. So 007 is mentioned heavily in the book Moonraker, not in the film. Obviously, they kind of set that in space after the Star Wars phenomenon. But in the book of Moonraker, James Bond is chasing Drax, the main villain, and I think Ian Fleming knew Maidstone and Kent very well. I think he was very local, so he names quite a few of the streets by name, like especially like the High Street and a few other ones, and then I think they end up down in Ashford actually, in that way, and down to the coast in Dover. And then coming across there was a big Civil War battle there, so I put a representation of that with some soldiers. And then we come across to a couple of books like what's it called? There's a Jack London book where he's a famous American author. You might know his most famous book is called Call of the Wild. It's the one with the dog, and I think there's a film with Harrison Ford of it recently. But he also travelled. He travelled to Kent, and he took part in hop picking. So he mentions hop picking a lot. And then obviously the Pickwick Papers, that's very Maidstone and Rochester based. Muggleton is obviously the sort of Charles Dickens name for Maidstone. And you got what's it called, Dingley Dell, which is actually Cogtree Manor Park, a big pond in Cogtree Manor Park, which is where there used to be a zoo, and that's why we got the elephants on there. So
that I don't even need to do a Maidstone fact today, Graham, because you've just given all of them. So yeah, that's and you worked with the school, did you say, to come up with some of the ideas for that?
Yeah, there was I think it was one of the girls' schools who took part in sort of coming up with some of the ideas. They were they weren't able to make it on the final day, so we took some other young people from various schools and got them to help out. You can see their names on the mural there. So, and they were a big help actually. But they learned a lot about how to translate a mural from a smallish design. I think my sheet was about A3 size up onto a massive wall, and various techniques in using spray cans as a medium. So yeah, they were really good actually. I really enjoyed working with them.
It looks really, really good in the bus station. And you also did the Lock Meadow Wings, which you mentioned earlier, which you can take a selfie with. I read online that it's about rising from the ashes in Phoenix. Is this correct, or is this artistic license online?
Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of like a suggestion that I had. They wanted something like a selfie wall there, and they did mention angel wings as an idea. And what I wanted to do, because it's quite a drab grey wall, isn't it? So what I wanted to do is have it with the element of them sort of coming out of the grey wall, and there's sort of like a nice fiery background behind it. Rather than just sort of like plonking the wings on the grey wall, I wanted to sort of give a bit of an action element to it. So it's sort of like rising out of the sort of the drab grey wall. That's where that idea come from, and someone jumped on the idea and said, yeah, rising from the ashes kind of thing. So yeah, it's a bit of creative license, but I think it was it was like a brainstorming session, I think.
It certainly does add some literal metaphorical colour to the area.
Yes.
Like something interactive as well, which is like before, during, and after, which can continue to be interactive. Imagine loads of people have been taking selfies with the wings down there. Just going to play a song for you, Graham, and then we'll come back and ask some more questions about how you got into graffiti, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Welcome back to Sunday Brunch. This is Cassie with Graham, and we're talking about graffiti street art. We had a little discussion about graffiti street art. You explained to me the difference, Graham. Can you just go over that again for people listening?
Yeah, sure. I mean, graffiti art and street art, they're very much of the same vein. But when I'm talking about street art, I usually refer to things like the bus station mural, or there's one I did in Strood just after Maidstone. So it's more sort of pictorial, image-based stuff, you know, like the angel wings, for instance. And when I talk about graffiti art, I usually refer to the letter-based stuff. You know, it doesn't have to be illegal. I quite often get commissions for doing for graffiti art. I did one in Ashford recently at a skateboard park. So the graffiti art is kind of the letter-based stuff. So
how did you get into it? When did you start?
I started very long time ago now, sort of about 1985, something like that. I got all swept up in the hip-hop phenomenon when it first started. So some friends of mine and we all got into breakdancing, and we were crazy at breakdancing, but we kind of really got into the whole hip hop culture. You know, not just doing the graffiti, but I got into breakdancing, got into graffiti. I also got into a bit of the DJing, scratching and mixing and that kind of thing. But as an artist, you know, someone who's always been interested in art and enjoyed art at school, the sort of graffiti was the one that, you know, I just kept going. I mean, I'm way too old to go spinning on the floor anymore now. You know, I'm a bit too creaky for that. So, but I've always used the graffiti and been really into that, into sort of like developing the letters. I've always found it so original and so sort of creative, you know, using a letter to describe things and, you know, coming up with something original. And it was always a bit about being original. You know, it's you know, you wanted to, it's always about, you know, showing off your style and making people appreciate how good you are, you know, rather than sort of like the tagging side of it, which I'm not a great fan of. I was more about, you know, creating these really sort of fantastic pieces of graffiti art that people would wow people, you know, getting your sort of kind of props from people for doing that, if you get it well. So, and then, yeah, graffiti art helped me in my career, really. You know, I wasn't that great when I finished school, you know, I had a couple of GCSEs or GCEs as they were in those days, and then O-level in art. But I didn't think I was good enough to get to art college. And then when I really did decide to sort of make a go for it, I did kind of maintain a sketchbook, but I took along my graffiti work. And thankfully the tutor who was interviewing was really appreciative of that stuff. So he said, yeah, great, you know, come on in. And, you know, I went on to sort of do my foundation and my degree courses in graphic design and illustration and things at art college. So yes, and
where did you study? Sorry.
I went to it's Kent Institute of Art and Design when I went there. I think University of the Creative Arts. So I went to Canterbury to do my the foundation, which was a BTEC and National Diploma in General Art and Design, and then I went to Maidstone to do the you know, the higher education stuff, HND and whatnot. So
that's where I went.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Number of years before me then.
Were you there at the same? Were you there at the same? I don't suppose you were there at the same time as Tracy Emin, were you? Or
no, my brother was. My brother was there with Tracy Emin, so that was the early 80s. I went in 1990. I was there 95 to 97 in Maidstone, and 93 to 95 in Canterbury.
It's such a shame it's the campus in Maidstone has gone, because it was really, like, you know, it really had some things that the other campuses don't have. But, you know,
well, when I was there, they were the campuses were, you know, you had Rochester, Canterbury and Maidstone, and they were sort of like specialist in their degree courses. So like Maidstone was much more sort of graphics and photography. Rochester was more like the sort of the 3D and fashion kind of design, and then Canterbury was more the sort of fine arts and stuff like that. It was yeah, you know, you really had to sort of like a center for each kind of discipline. Yeah, and like, yeah, Maidstone was, you know, the graphic center. Yeah, I loved it. I loved studying at Maidstone. It's a great college.
Yeah, it's a shame it's not there anymore. So do you have any particular artists that inspire you that you like? Or
of course, yeah, I've got a wide range of artists that I like. I like anything from simply for sort of background colors, you know, because I love all my blending colors now. I'm a massive fan of Turner. Always have been a fan of his, you know, from his stormy kind of scenes and to the fighting temeraire. to Scene, who's a really famous graffiti artist from New York Times, when I used to write on the trains. And yeah, I can't. There's a few. Obviously Banksy I quite like. I like Banksy's kind of, he kind of admits he's not the greatest graffiti artist, but his originality and his ideas of what he's trying to say is just phenomenal. He's so clever in what he does. And it's always breathtaking to see him sort of come up with a new idea, even from the shredding the girl with the balloon, when that was sold at auction. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, it was funny, but probably not for the person who bought it.
Yeah, it was like about $18 million or something.
Here's some shreds of paper for you.
Yeah. But it's worth even more now, isn't it? Did you see it's worth even more? Like, yeah.
Oh, okay. It worked out okay in the end then.
Yes.
I know you do. You said earlier that you do workshops. Have you got any advice for people, apart from attending your workshops, looking to get into graffiti themselves or street art?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just be original. Always use your own designs. You can be influenced by people, get your own style, but always use your letters, distort them as you're designing them, and come up with your own style. Always be original. I like to think that I've got a style that people will recognize my graffiti and that's one of Graham's pieces there. So yeah, that's what you want to be. You want to sort of be influenced by people, but you should never copy them. So
that's brilliant. Thanks Graham for talking to me about it. It's been great to have you on the show. And if you got a website, Instagram, that people could go look at your stuff if they'd like to. Yeah,
I'm on Twitter and Instagram. My handles is on both of them is shade2 SHADE _2 UK. So if you want to see my work, you should see examples of my work on both of those there. So I'll always tweet out what I'm doing. I've got one last question. Do you have a favourite piece that you've done so far? Favourite piece? I'm very, very pleased with Maidstone Bus Station, because to be honest, Cassie, I was bricking it when I was doing Tony Hart. I think it seems such a good idea when you're designing it, but when you come to put it on the wall, you think, oh, it's got to look like Tony Hart. So I'm pleased that it actually looks like Tony Hart, and his daughter said, yeah, that's great. So I'm particularly proud of that one. I'm particularly proud as well of Tunbridge Station. That was a gargantuan task as well. That was a piece charting the history of Tunbridge Station, and I put some I did quite a bit of research there about what kinds of trains came through there throughout the ages, and one of the guys from the Kent Rail Partnership come up to me and said, I can't believe how accurate you were about the trains, the types of trains that came through there. And I was like, oh, great, thank you. So I'm particularly proud of that as well. Yeah. Well, they all look great. Hopefully we'll see some more pieces of yours going up around Maidstone. We've already got the bus stations, which people should definitely get down and take a look at. It looks great. Yeah, and the wings. Get your selfies, get them on Maidstone Radio website and Graham's tag. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Graham, again for coming in. Only a pleasure. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. Thanks, Graham. No worries. Take care, Cassie.